A Notre Dame commitment, a Miami commitment, two elite offensive linemen, and one of the nation's top linebackers on today's Florida High School Football Recruiting Countdown.
Locked On presents The Portal, the daily podcast covering college football recruiting and everything NIL. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome back into the portal where you get your daily recruiting, NIL, and transfer portal news. I'm your host, Brian Smith, longtime college football recruiting analyst. Thank you for making the Portal Podcast your first listen each and every day. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel, where right now you can get $200 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. We've got a really good list of players left to break down from 20 to 16 on this list. We're going to finish out with the rest of them today here on the Portal Podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe, share this podcast, and make sure you come back and see us again later today too. This is a fun group. We're down again to the top 20. Got a quarterback committed to Notre Dame. We've got one of the top corners in the country committed to Miami, two really good offensive linemen. And we also have a linebacker that has just really blossomed in the last year and is a physical freak. So without further ado, here is number 20 on my countdown. It is Canon Pickett, offensive lineman out of Tech High School in Tampa, Florida. This is a young man that I know very well. 6'5", 320 pounds. I believe that Canon is a guy that can play guard or tackle. Really doesn't make any difference. And if you really wanted him to, he could probably play center if he really started to work on that and making it his focus. But right now, tackle is where he is prioritizing his efforts, and he's going to play left tackle at Tech High School, one of the better programs in the state of Florida and definitely in the greater Tampa area. Recruiting-wise, this is a young man that could go to just about any school he wanted. He's been tied to Miami for a long time, got parent ties there. His brother is now there, Booker Pickett, at the University of Miami as an edge linebacker. I do believe that it's still going to be a little while before he decides, but if I had to guess, Miami would be the most likely selection. But there's also Clemson visit he took recently. He really liked Clemson. Florida State and Florida involved. Georgia, Bama involved. Pickett told me last weekend that most likely he will stay down south, but the 6'5", 320-pounder is nowhere near ready to make a final decision, in my opinion. He just wants to make sure he makes the best decision for him, and by all means, that's what he should do. He's got a lot of good people around him, Big Ray over at Trench Academy in Tampa, and the Tampa Bay Tech staff does a great job helping kids get the right school too. So we'll find out where Pickett goes here pretty soon. He'll probably make his decision in late June or early July. Next up, a kid, speaking of the University of Miami, he is committed there, and he's also another kid from Tampa, ironically. Number 19 is Jaelen Waters. He goes to Armwood High School right on the edge of Tampa. This is a prospect that you cannot teach the length like he has. This is what you're looking for if you want corners. 6'1", 6'2", 170, 180 pounds, and could really change directions. And when he has to run in a line to keep up with a guy on a 9 route, Jaelen Waters can do that as well. I saw him play at Battle Miami earlier this year. He was very good there. He's a kid that likes the challenge of going against really good competition. His recruitment has been wild. He's been committed to Florida State and Florida, and now he is committed to Miami. Will that be his last commitment? I don't know, but I do know that he is committed to the Canes right now, and other schools are not going to back off. Florida, Auburn, maybe Florida State gets back involved. Who knows? But Miami's the school he's committed to. UF's got a visit with him, if it's correct, on 24/7. Who knows? This is very fluid. May 30th, Miami is June 13th, and Auburn June 16th. This is, again, off 24/7. But we'll see what happens with his visits, because Waters is a guy that you just can't teach the length and the athleticism. And he plays at a prominent program. There's no reason to believe his recruitment is 100% done, in my opinion. We'll see what happens there. Next is one of my favorite players to watch just on film, regardless of position. And it's a kid that, quite honestly, doesn't get enough acclaim because he plays on the Atlantic side of the coast, but not in the Miami area. That is Micah Smith, big guy from Vero Beach High School. He's been a stud for a few years. He'll probably end up in the SEC, Big Ten, or ACC. Ohio State has long since been rumored with him. He's made multiple visits up there. He's got a good relationship with their staff. But he's also got a visit set with Illinois in early April. Where does he end up? I don't know. There's not a ton of information about him, and I haven't spoken to him here real recently. But at 6'6", 320 pounds, Champ is a guy that He can play either spot, right or left tackle. And if you wanted to move him inside, that would fit his mentality because he is a power player. But the unique part about Champ, I don't know who's coached him or if it's just innate. He's very patient in space when he's going against smaller guys. He doesn't get out over his feet. And when Vero, and they've got a ton of athletes, when they run screens, Champ is a guy that does a great job of being patient and getting a hand on some of those smaller DBs and outside linebackers that weigh 100, 150 pounds less than him. And he just throws them around like rag dolls. Really smart football player. And I think he's a guy that has a world of upside at the major college level. And I think he's an NFL player long-term, kind of like Pickett. I think Pickett is too. Those guys are rare to find at tackle where they can play right or left, get out space. Both of them do a good job of that. And Champ, I don't think he's even done completely filling out his frame. He's probably got some work to reshape his body, but there's nothing not to like about him. And he could end up being one of the highest graded offensive linemen. And once this class, 2 or 3 years from now, we start looking at it, his upside is just absolutely tremendous. When we come back, we're going to talk about a Notre Dame commitment. And we also have another really good player to talk about as well. We got 2 more here on the portal. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades. Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is a reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need, delivered fast, coast to coast. If you need help with an order, Supply House also offers expert support, industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to the real person instead of some automated line at another company. So for trade pros looking for that edge, their free Trade Master program is an offer you should take up, and it's got a dedicated phone line with free shipping and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already using this, so now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Noah Grubbs is one of the best passers in the country. He plays at Lake Mary High School, so he's certainly going against good competition. He lives right on the north edge of Orlando. They made a deep run in the playoffs this past year. And the 6'3", 200-pounder is a guy that is committed to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. He's been committed for about a year. And I remember him telling me when I interviewed him last summer that he was just like, there's nobody else really close to Notre Dame, and I've taken all these visits. Why wait? Well, he's also done something else in terms of waiting, and that is getting after it in the weight room. He's not worried about what other people think. He's going to go out and do his thing, and he's went from about 220, 225 range down to 200 pounds, and he looks fantastic. The last time I saw him was about a month ago, and it's just incredible what a body transformation Noah has went through. That's dedication, man. I really respect that. Notre Dame got a really good passer. He's a pocket guy that can move, and most people don't know this, but he's a threat to run and make some plays. Not Riley Leonard. I'm not saying he's that, but he's a guy that can get out on the edge and make some plays. Does Notre Dame need guys like this every year? Absolutely. And he's also helping them recruit the receiver position. So this is a really great fit for the Irish. And I think it's really interesting that they're getting a quarterback out of the state of Florida. They're trying to hit that state hard anyway. So we'll see if anybody else that he can pull along out of the state of Florida with him to come play, including possibly his friend and teammate, Brian Williams Jr., who Notre Dame recently offered, a wide receiver that's about 6'3", 6'4", 185 pounds. So lots of targets for Notre Dame in the Sunshine State. To finish up today's podcast, we got one more player, and this is a guy that is just tremendous in terms of athleticism. He's always been blessed with really good size and strength. At number 16, Malik Morris, 6'1", 242 pounds, at a famed Lakeland High School in my favorite nickname for a high school in the country, the Dreadnoughts. He is a young man that has been at least rumored to be heavily involved with Florida. That's probably the team to beat. Texas A&M's got a visit on June 6th. In Miami, May 30th, Florida State's gotten him on campus. We'll see if any of those teams can play catch up with the Gators, who have him coming in on June 13th for a visit. But here's the big thing with him from a prospect perspective. Seeing him as a sophomore, you could tell he was still feeling it out, understanding where plays were going, understanding film study, and just what is going to develop in front of him. Now he's a step ahead. He sees a play, if you watch Malik's film, and it's like he's reading it, but it's almost like he's getting the play. He beats guys to the spot. He'll beat an offensive lineman that's pulling, and he has the athleticism at 240 to outrun an offensive lineman very easily anyway, but he's taking a better path. He's understanding how to get through the trash in the run gap fits. It's just an incredible transformation. Really good football player. And then on top of it, my biggest question with any inside linebacker, can you play in the passing game? He's an impactful guy there too. And again, he's 240 plus pounds. This is an old school linebacker, but with new school athleticism and speed. Malik Morris has not committed to a school yet, and I'm sure his recruitment is going to continue to heat up, but he is just a tremendous football player. Curious to see where he ends up going because he has a chance to play very early, no matter where that is. Thank you once again for making the Portal Podcast your first listen each and every day. Please hit that like button, notification bell, and subscribe to the Portal Podcast and share it. If you know somebody that likes recruiting, NIL or transfer portal, this is the place for you. And by the way, we have a bunch of portal stuff getting ready to come up. It's opening again in April. I'm going to start doing some previews of that coming up here pretty soon because every school needs something. What does your school need? We'll be talking about that here on the Portal Podcast.